All right, what up, Who That Nation? This is No Cap, No Filter Saints. I'm your host, Marlon G. Back at y'all. Another one. Got B up in here. Got Marlon up in here. We're gonna get to this Bills. Not this Bills. We're gonna get to this Giants. Saints preview. But before we get to that, I gotta get y'all opinion on the Bills Saints game, man. B, you could go first. Let me know what you had thought about the Bills Saints matchup. Saints fought, but ultimately it wasn't enough.
I mean, really, what it comes down to, man, is the Saints aren't good enough to make the miscues. They aren't good enough to blow the missed opportunities. You can't have a guy like Pete Werner drop a pick six. You can't have Spencer Rattler missing layup touchdowns. That's right there for him, wide open wide receivers in the end zone. And this is consecutive weeks now. You can't have them committing penalties that allow the MVP to get back on the field when you force, when the defense gets out there, forces a 3-and-out, and then you have a special teams penalty and they get the ball right back. You can't afford missed field goals. The Saints cannot afford to be just good enough to lose anymore. You have to cash in on those opportunities because now this is out of the 4 weeks the Saints have played. 3 out of the 4 weeks they've had an opportunity to win those games against teams that they would probably shouldn't even been close in the game with in the first place. And every single opportunity the Saints have, they've blown. That's not, I don't really think that's just a coaching issue. That's just players not being able to capitalize because none of the players in that locker room truly understand what it's like to win on a high level.
Hmm. Yeah, man, I would agree, man. We we have very slim margin for error when it comes to this team, and when it comes to certain teams that's good, they can go out there and play bad and you still win. Look at the Bills. I mean, their team right now. I think I seen some type of report that is causing concern, and those guys won 30 by 31 points to what it was 31 to let me see what the score was
19.
again. 31-19. They won 31-19. And there's a lot of cause for concern because they're not playing up to their standard, and to in their head, they had a struggling day and put up 31 points, 9 points from 40. And it's just different perspectives. Let me go your take on the whole thing, Marlon.
It's similar to B. Like we don't have the margin of error. Like even I'll give like years in the past. I'll say even last year to a degree. Like till I'm gonna go till week 6. Like the Saints, the team, even if it wasn't a great game, like a player could potentially make a mistake, but it wouldn't be like like this mistake is. Like, okay, I know we ended up losing this game last year, but remember when we played the Falcons and like Shaheed did that dumb punt return and like then dropped scored a touchdown? Well, we could even last year we can overcome. We lost the game, but we can overcome that. This year we don't have that luxury anymore to overcome. So like if a player drops a pass, like Olave dropped the pass on third down, he threw the pick. Like those are like losing plays. Like even till like last year, we can overcome that. We can't overcome that this year. I thought they fought hard. I thought the game was coached a lot better. I thought it was like the game plan was better, but we just not able to overcome things like that.
Hmm. Yeah, man, I would agree. And of course, a lot of the heat gonna come on the quarterback. So when you lose, the quarterback gonna accept a lot of bulk of the blame. But when you win, the quarterback get a lot of the glory. No matter how the quarterback is playing. If a team wins 10 games in a row, that quarterback is going to get a lot of the glory. Now there's going to be some people that's going to point out, man, if you had this quarterback in there, it's kind of like Jalen Hurts. Right now it's a lot of talk around Jalen Hurts. How much is he a part of that team winning, and how much is he a part of that team when it comes to losing? And that's the big debate right now when it comes to Gilly and Wallow versus Cam Newton. And a lot of people talk about it with Bo Nix. Some people used to talk about the same thing with Tim Tebow. Oh, he's winning all these games. But a lot of people are like, man, but look at what he's doing to win. This is not going to be sustainable. And it started to be like that with Spence Rattler. No matter what he's doing, playing well, at the end of the day, he's ending up with losing records. I think he's like 0-10 right now as a starter. And some people are just fed up. Like enough is enough. me personally, I think he's playing well, and I think that the team and the coaching ain't doing him no justice. Yes, you cannot miss these throws, but at the same time, these same throws that he's missing, he could be able to make up for it if the team was better making helping him out. Like B mentioned, that pick six that was dropped, that third down that was dropped by Olave. A lot of the stuff that's going on special teams. I keep on calling for the special teams coordinator head. I keep on calling for Blake Grupe's head. A lot of the stuff that Ruiz is doing, like all that can't be ignored. Bo Nix is out there missing a lot of throws, but at the same time, he does make up for it. But he has helped making up for it with the defense, with the team being disciplined, and with the head coach putting him in position. And I just don't think that Spence Rattler has all that behind him yet. It's not going to happen overnight. A lot of the people in this era, they want instant success. They want CJ Stroud stories. They want stuff. They want people coming right off the bus being successful. Nobody is trying to wait a year or two or that third year for you to have it, especially in the Saints scenario when we got Spence Rattler and we got a Tyler Shuck, where they're both of a certain age to where we don't have no patience. We need to see what you got right now, because they got plenty of guys coming out in this draft in the next year or two that we could go ahead on and see what they got, and they'll be younger and we'll get them on a cheap contract. So what's your take, B, when it comes to Spence Rattler? And a lot of people are giving him grace, and they got a lot of people just ready to move on to Tyler Shuck. They've seen enough.
You know what, man? Like, the first thing that comes to mind realistically is that you may get what you want, but you may not want what you get. And that's something that I love telling people, and sometimes I don't really think they comprehend it. Here's a great example. Drew Brees is shot. He can't get it done anymore. It's time for the Saints to move on. Guess what the Saints have been forced to do? Move on. And do you like the results? You wanted it. You wanted Brees to be done with. It was time for him to retire. It was time for him to go ahead on out the pasture. Now you have exactly what you wanted. Do you still want it, or do you want Brees back? Because I know there are a bunch of people out there that will take Brees with no arm, who said himself, I can't throw the ball 10 yards without my arm falling off. But they would still take that Drew Brees over any quarterback that we have on the roster over the last 3-4 years. Here's another example of you may get what you want, but you may not want what you get. You wanted a rebuild, or you said you wanted one. We're ready as fans. We know the team is going to suck. You are now in a rebuild. Do you still want it? Are you sure? So when I look at Spencer Rattler, it's one of those situations to where they are forgetting that this is a rookie quarterback because of what you said, Maul. They looked at Joe Burrow come in and start instantly. They look at Jaden Daniels who came in. They look at CJ Stroud, but they're forgetting about all the other quarterbacks that struggled. And some of those same quarterbacks that we put on a pedestal last season, CJ Stroud, Bo Nix, even a Drake May, to an example. Those quarterbacks don't look like they did in their rookie season because now the NFL has film on them. So those quarterbacks are now starting to struggle. For as great as Bo Nix played last year, he ain't been that this year. You just mentioned how Sean Payton has to put him in positions to kind of try to overcome his mistakes. So these are the things that are happening, but Spence Rattler is not getting those favorable moments because the Saints did draft Tyler Shuck, because the fan base has been divided since Brees left. This is not a Spencer Rattler versus Tyler Shuck problem. This is a Spencer Rattler versus Dennis Allen versus Derek Carr versus Jake Haener problem. That the hate that Spencer Rattler gets this year is largely related to the hate he got last year, because there are a lot of Derek Carr fans who want him to suffer because, I guess they believe he's the reason that he's no longer there.
Yeah, man, that's definitely a good point. It would be much interesting to see if a lot of these same fans would have his same feet to the fire at the same pace had he not started all those games last year and lost all those games last year. Mind you, he lost those games last year with the offensive line in shambles. No Olave, no Shaheed. The defense was barbecue chicken. The head coach was Dennis Allen. The offensive coordinator was relying too heavily on Taysom Hill. But that's neither here nor there. And a lot of, like I say, man, a lot of these guys, it's not going to be A lot of these guys don't have patience anymore, man. You look at Daniel Jones, a change of scenery. Now this guy is playing very well out there at Indiana. And it's a lot of other guys that's just like Daniel Jones, who, when they're a veteran, they get the right offensive coordinator, they get the right head coach, they get the right guys around them. They can have some success. You know, Baker Mayfield right now is in a lot of MVP talks. But before, when he was in Cleveland, when nobody really just talking about Baker Mayfield like he is now, not everybody will want a Baker Mayfield or a Baker Mayfield type on their team. You know, I just think we got to get back to being a little bit more patient with things, especially when you're a fan base that's in a rebuild. What's your take on the whole Spencer Rattler thing, Marlon?
I mean, I'm not gonna like blame him. I think he's doing the best he can. I just think he's a fifth round pick. It's like he's just not gonna get the like all the guys when you name are first round picks. Like they're gonna get a level of grace that's just different from a fifth round pick. So you probably looking at something. I know, like it kind of sucked to put the 0-10 record on him because we know what he played with last year, like playing with an interim head coach, stuff like that. Like even when he came in last year, he barely played. He played one game with like Shaheed. He played who got hurt. He played really like 2 quarters with like Olave, who he got hurt in his first game, didn't play his second game, and then he got like pulled the third. Then Rattler got pulled the third game. He didn't get McCoy, so but he's just not going to get those level of opportunities, especially off of what they did in the draft when they took Shuck. Like his leash is, it's not going to be like, oh, we pulling him instantly, but it's not going to be this long leash. Like if it would be different if Kellen and them drafted him, but they didn't. So we probably coming to a point where like I know you can't really blame him for the 0-10, but it's still on the resume, and he wasn't their draft pick. Like he getting to the point where in the next 3 games he gonna have to get a win or at least show something better than what's been shown to continue. Because with the Shuck pick, they're gonna have to find out something about him. Because even though this ain't the quarterbacks who in the draft who they thought was gonna be it, not it. You got guys that's emerging now, and you're gonna have to have an answer on some of these dudes because we looking at a top 3 pick, and if you got pick 1, you're gonna have to know because you have to know do you have to take a guy? Can you have the ability to trade back, something like that? Because you got Dante Moore at Oregon, you got Fernando Mendoza, and then you got Lenoris, who's probably the one guy that he stayed in the range that they think he'll be in for the draft. So we're gonna have to know on Shuck at a certain point. That's why I think some people like they criticize Rattler heavy. Like I got like criticism of Rattler. I don't think he's accurate. And I think for a 6-foot quarterback, you have to be accurate because he's not a great athlete. So you're gonna have to have like a level of accuracy. Like he has good arm strength, but he's just not accurate. Like a player like him missing those touchdowns, like that matters. He's not gonna get the level of grace if Cam Ward missed that touchdown. Like they'll be like, oh, well, he's number 1 pick. He can be good 2 years from now. Like it's not it sucks, but for a 5th round pick, it's like now or never, and that's just your situation.
You mentioned now or never, and then you mentioned him gotta get a win like over these next 3 games. Is it the next 3 games? The Cleveland Browns, they're going on with Dylan Gabriel right now. The Giants, they're moving on with Jackson Dart last week, and he got a win. So when you see stuff like that, a lot of times people are going to get impatient. You got Tyler Shuck right behind Spence Rattler. You say he's inaccurate, but Tyler Shuck, he could be accurate down the field. It's been studies shown that dating back that Spence Rattler can't connect deep. Sometimes you probably gonna have to pick your poison. Yes, he does a little good versus the blitz. Tyler Shuck doesn't do very well versus the blitz. He kind of get rattled. But at some point, can you just go ahead on and put him in so you can see? Like a lot of guys can have these kinds in them in college, but when it comes to the NFL, for some reason the light just switch. At some point, you know, you're gonna have to make that change. Do you make that change versus the Giants, even if we lose this game with Spence Rattler playing very well? Like, at some point, something got to give. Do you think they make that change after the Giants game, Marlon?
Like what? Oh, changing quarterbacks? I think
Yeah.
he would have to play bad to change it. Like it would have to look like Seattle or something. Not saying they lose like that as a team. He would have to look like he did against Seattle probably, and they'll potentially do it. But I don't know. I think probably the easiest game for me, if they do make the change, will probably be against the Bears. I know people gonna say, "Oh, it's Dennis Allen's defense." I just look at the defensive line unit. The Bears don't really have a good defensive line. Like, so if they make the change, I think it would be like on a road start, in my opinion. But
Mhm.
I don't know what they'll do, but I do know that like they're gonna have to get an answer on these quarterbacks. Like I think the situation we can't really compare it to Jackson Dart because he was a first round pick. Like I think even I know they're starting Dylan Gabriel first. I do think like Shador will play because they got 2 first round picks and they're gonna be a bad team. So they're gonna have to know too, like teams like that. Cleveland was in a situation like us where they got 2 younger quarterbacks. They're gonna have to know. So I think both will play. So I just think like each situation is unique. But I don't think he gets benched if it's like if it's bad. But I do think like at a certain point he's going to win a game. But I think the only way he doesn't start the New England game is if he's like really bad this week.
All right. What about you, B? What about you, B? Versus the Giants, even if he does play well, like, do you just move on with Shuck for the Patriots game coming up? Because at some point, people patience is gonna get low. You're gonna have to see what you got out this guy. Um, Maybe two things can be true at once. Maybe he can't connect deep, and maybe Kellen Moore is not, drawing up a lot of deep shots for him or telling him, yes, go with this deep shot or take what you could take underneath. Because a lot of people have been pulling up stats and a lot of documentation that dating back to his college years, he don't really connect deep with a lot of his receivers. So, and then with the way the defense is playing safeties right now, throughout the league, uh, people are not even worried about checking anything deep right now. So that could be hindering the offense as well. What you think, B? We're gonna just come back to B. I think he kind of busy right now. Um Hold on, I think there you go. Yeah, you heard me, B?
My bad, brother. My call dropped on me. What's good now, fam? I know you was asking me about the Giants, right?
Yeah, I was asking you about the Giants. I was basically saying, even if Spence Rattler does play well, but we lose the game at some point, do you just go ahead on and move with Shuck for the Patriots game? Because we see the Cleveland Browns moving on with Dylan Gabriel. We seen the Giants moved on with Jackson Dart. It's been documentation that Spence Rattler cannot connect deep with a lot of receivers. Two things can be true at once. Maybe he can't connect. Maybe Kellen Moore ain't really drawing up a lot of deep shots for him. But at some point, you're gonna have to move on with a guy that can open up, the field, and that's what Tyler Shuck can do very well. And with the way a lot of these teams are playing defense with the safeties, a lot of teams probably looking at the film and saying, man, we ain't even got to worry about anything, past 40 yards. And that could be hindering the offense as well. So what you think about the whole, Spence Rattler, his cord is going to probably be cut short soon. Like, can't it be after the Giants game?
I don't think it should be. So let's start it like this. This is a dream scenario for me. Saints win the opening kickoff, right? They defer to the second half. They go out there to get a 3-and-out versus the Giants, punt the ball, get the ball starting offense. Let's go. Very first play from the New Orleans Saints starting offense, the very first time they touch the ball, should be a play action pass. Let Spencer cock back and throw it all the way down the damn field, throw it 60 plus yards. And to be honest with you, Maul, I don't give a shit if it ends up in an interception. Because what that will do is it will tell the Giants, we're going to go deep today. You can either prepare for it or don't, because of everything you just said. Because the Saints have been a dink and dunk offense, because they don't have plays to say they got 3 receivers on the roster that excel at going down the field. They have no chunk plays. They have no explosive plays. So for me, I don't care if it ends up in an interception. Very first play of the game, throw it deep. Just do one of those. F it, Olave down there somewhere. I don't care if it ends up in an interception. That being said, I still don't think that's a be. No matter what happens in this game, let me not say no matter what happens. If Spencer plays poorly, then he should be yanked. If he can't beat the Giants, then he doesn't belong out there. And what I mean, I don't mean like, him going out there and losing the game. I mean him going out there and playing poorly. If he go out there and he's 13 of 39 for no touchdowns, 3 picks, and he just looks horrible, you yank him. If he go out there and he's 19 of 24 and they still don't get it done, that's a whole different ball game. Hold on 1 second, fam.
Okay. Yeah. And that's right there been basically, the narrative of Spence Rattler. Like he does just enough for his supporters to root him on and say, man, he's not the issue, but he doesn't enough for his doubters to say, oh, well, he kind of made me change my tune today. Like he's stuck in that middle ground.
Here's the problem with that, bro. Everyone keeps saying 2 things that are pissing me the hell off. The first one is the idea of ignoring that Spence Rattler is a rookie and that rookies are going to make mistakes. So don't get me wrong. He has to hit some of the throws. If you want to be an NFL quarterback, some of these throws you're missing, you got to hit. But it's pissing me off because they think that you put Tyler Shuck in and all of a sudden all of Spencer Rattler's flaws go away. And you almost forget the fact that Tyler Shuck has flaws himself. You mentioned it a moment ago. Tyler Shuck excels at going downfield. Yes, he does. But do you know where he struggles? In the short and intermediate passes and under pressure. What do you think the Giants right now are going to do if let's say for whatever reason Kellen Moore comes out, he says Tyler Shuck is our starting quarterback this week for the Giants. We made a change. The Giants are going to salivate because their strength is the defensive line. Tyler Shuck's weakness, and if I'm not mistaken, Spagnuolo was the Giants' defensive coordinator right now. Is he not?
No.
No. Sorry, no. It's Spagnuolo's still in Kansas City.
Yeah,
Spagnuolo's still in Kansas City. Whoever the guy is in New York right now, forgive me. I thought it was Spagnuolo because he plays a very similar style. They don't want to rush linebackers and DBs and do trick plays. They want to rush their front 4, and the Giants D line is their strength right now. So for them to see Torricelli Simpkins getting his second start, Trevor Penning coming back off of an injury, being in his second start, with a rookie tackle on one side and a second-year tackle on the other, the Giants are going to crush Tyler Shuck. And this is what they bring me to the second point that pisses me off. Well, you got to see what you have in him, don't you? Respect to both of y'all if that's how y'all feel. I totally disagree. Greatest second-round pick in the history of the NFL. Second-round quarterback for sure. Drew Brees didn't play his first year. Dak Prescott didn't play his first year. Pat Mahomes didn't play his first year. I could keep going. Tom Brady didn't play. And am I comparing Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck to them? Dak won Rookie of the Year. He didn't play his first year. He didn't start those first couple of games.
He did. He started. No, he did. Tony Romo had a broke back.
Tony Romo got hurt. That's why he started.
No, Tony Romo back was broken in training camp. I ain't trying to make you like. He started that year. He started the whole year. That's what happened. And then Tony Romo retired. You don't remember?
And that was so long ago. I don't really remember how that went down.
Yeah, he had played that first preseason game in the Coliseum because when football went back to LA, and he was the Rookie of the Year because he looked really, really good, and he ended up winning Rookie of the Year.
Well, can't you be Rookie of the Year like if you ain't play your whole?
No, that's only the NBA. That's only NBA. But he played all the games. They won like 13-3.
Yeah, he started all rookie games
that year. I'm off on Dak.
Yeah.
It still doesn't change the fact that Aaron Rodgers sat. Pat Mahomes sat. Drew Brees sat.
Jordan Love.
Tom Brady sat. Jordan Love sat. Aaron Rodgers sat. Like, so for everybody that I get them wrong every now and again. I always take my losses. So yeah, Dak didn't sit. But the fact remains that there are many quarterbacks that sit and people are like, well, you got to see what you got in him. No, you don't. You don't have to see what you have in Tyler Shough. Tyler Shough could legitimately never see the field as a second-round pick for the New Orleans Saints. And it still would not mean that that's an indictment on Tyler Shough or Spencer Rattler. What it means is that there was a better option available. Here's an example of that. If the Cincinnati Bengals said, give us 2 first-round picks and we'll take Joe Burrow, who you really want starting, Tyler Shough or Joe Burrow? Like, we're not even having this discussion. I take Kyler Murray over fucking Tyler Shough. But again, I'm saying it because people believe you have to see what you have in him. No, you don't. You don't. You can leave Tyler Shough right where you at, because here's the alternative. You play him and you play him early and you ruin him. You realize you can't go back to him after that. This ain't a Bryce Young situation. Bryce Young was the first overall pick, and Carolina traded a lot to get him. Tyler Shough doesn't have that luxury. Tyler Shough is a second-round pick. He's a 40th. He's on a guaranteed contract, but it ain't like it's a huge guaranteed contract. And you really could basically just put him out there, let him go out there, get his head caved in, and once you put him back on the bench, because now you got to go back to Rattler, you going to Jake Haener or somebody else, you will never get Tyler Shough back because he's too old and he don't have the psyche for it. Because if the NFL pressure got to him the first time, it's not going to get better for him as a 28, 29-year-old rookie. It's not happening like that. This ain't going to be a reclamation project. Either you do this the right way or you lose your 40th pick forever. So for me, I just don't see the need to rush Tyler Shough out there. If Tyler Shough is who everybody believes that he is, which is, whatever comparison you want to make for him, then there's no reason to rush and put him out there, because let's be completely honest about this. The New Orleans Saints are not a Tyler Shough away from winning the Super Bowl. Hell, they ain't even a Tyler Shough away from being a playoff team. The New Orleans Saints is a team that lacks talent. So in order for you to put Tyler Shough in the game and think you're going to get any real good results, you're going to need talent around him. They don't have enough. Before you put Tyler Shough in there, you better have a real offensive line. You better have a better run game than what you have. You better have wide receivers that's a true number one, so where you can at least say, if he's out there, I got a game plan to stop him. Because if not, and you put Tyler Shough behind that offensive line and he cracked like he will, it's over. You lost your 40th pick. Good job, good riddance, and you lost Spencer because now his confidence shattered too. For a dude that has not done anything yet to say, I deserve to be yanked. So when it comes to the Giants, I'm thinking that, first of all, prediction, Spencer gets his first win. Second prediction, he plays well in his first win. And last but not least, I'm going to say this. I think if Spencer wins this one, it could be, not that it will be, but it could be a situation to where the Saints run off 3 straight wins. And if that happens, can you pull him if he plays poorly afterwards? If the Saints are 3-4 by the time, I believe, the next 3 games are what? The Giants, the Patriots, and the Bears. And then they play the Buccaneers, if I'm not mistaken. If they roll into Tampa with Spencer Rattler on a 3-game losing streak, and even if the Bucs beat their ass, can you pull Spencer Rattler and say, okay, we're gonna put Tyler Shough out there after he won 3 straight and just lost, he lost his first game in a while? Can you pull him? Or is anybody out there going to all of a sudden turn around and all of a sudden say, you know what, man, Spencer Rattler ain't as bad as we thought? Because if he wins 3 straight, even if he doesn't play that well, if they win 3 straight, can you pull him? That's the question. That's the question that's going to be out there, because they got a lot of people saying what happens if he loses to the Giants. Ain't nobody asking what happens if he wins.
Yeah, man. I think the Giants is a winnable game. I think the Patriots, they're playing very well right now under the new head coach and the new culture that they built over there. So I think it's a winnable game, but it's damn sure not no, walk in the park type of win game. And the Bears is going to have a lot of storylines, being that we're going to be going up against Dennis Allen defense, being that, Caleb, the quarterback over there, is the guy who replaced Spencer. So I'm pretty sure Spencer damn sure going to have some type of motivation that game versus the Bears. Yeah, man, it's gonna be something to see. And friendly reminder, man, Jordan Love, man, this dude was sat for a while, and while he was behind Aaron Rodgers, a lot of times it been reports where he was just kind of struggling, just not seeing the field, just the light haven't clicked yet. And even when he started and Aaron Rodgers was gone, it took a while before he really just started to hit his stride. And when he hit his stride, he never looked back. Now he's pushed into one of these top tier quarterbacks. And all I'm saying is that Green Bay team, they was patient with him. But moving on from Tyler Shough and Spence Rattler, it's a lot of players out here that we do have some, bright sides with. Jonas Sanka, I think he's started to become a fan favorite. Justin Blackmon, he had that injury, and a lot of people was like, well, Sanka got his chance to prove himself, and boy, did he prove himself. I mean, catching that pick versus MVP type of quarterback, the way he did it in the fashion he caught it, deflecting like two passes on Kincaid. He probably even did 3. Man, that was just very good. That was just very good instincts right there, man. A lot of people, we saying we should just trade down and, don't take no quarterback and see what we could get. But if we could get Caleb Downs with Jonas Sanka, man, that'll be nasty right there, boy. That'll be a tandem that I think a lot of people would like to see. But me personally, I always think when you do draft, you got to get you a quarterback, or you got to get you a tackle, which I think we good at tackle, or you got to get you a edge rusher. I think those affect the game the most. And, I'll be fine with a quarterback or edge rusher. But Sanka, bro, he's starting to really be like a bright spot on the team as a whole. Like, what do y'all feel about Jonas Sanka and the fact that he's even outplaying Justin Reed? Me personally, I think Alontae Taylor be more of an impact in Justin Reed's position right now. But that's another story. But how y'all feeling about Sanka? You could go first, Marlon.
I thought he had a great game. I think he had like 5 tackles, like 3 pass breakups, and then the pick, which the pick was surprising because it's like I know he had like ball skills, but the way he played in college, he was used more like he actually played more like Justin Reed in college, like that type of safety. So in that play right there, that's showing deep safety range, and I didn't think he had that in him. So that was good to see. I think like you just want to focus on as many young guys like that's not contract or like that's not extension eligible. Like you just focus on those players' growth at this point. Because
Did you see
outside of
anybody
McCoy,
else? You seen anybody else out there besides Sanka that you want to give
um,
a?
I mean, I thought he's not extension eligible, but I thought Kendra had a good game.
Yeah,
Um, and
Kendrick.
I'm like, I'm not when we talking extension eligible. So like players like how you said Alante, like I'm not even including them. They eligible to get paid. So I'm just like I'm looking for players that's 3 years, that's played 3 years or less to show me something. Because other than any player that's played that's in year 4 or older, I think the only player that matters long term potentially is McCoy because good centers don't grow on trees. But I'm just focused on the young players at this point. That's 3 years
Okay.
and under. So I think that um he had a good game in Sanker. I
Riley.
think Kendra had a good game. Riley, I'm glad he played. He needs to just be starting.
Mm-hmm.
Yidam, I don't have a problem with Isaac Yidam. It's just that like you're a bad team. You need that 4th round pick. You traded a 4th round pick for a player that was hurt and was old in his 2nd year. Like so it's time for Riley just to play because we can't lose. We can't basically trade 2 4th round picks for Vele and Yidam. Like that's awful team. That's an awful team building process if it's like that.
Yeah. What about you, B? How you feeling about Sanka? How you feeling about Riley? Is it time for him to just move up and get more playing time? And how you feel about Miller? Is it Miller time, B? Like should Miller be getting more carries than AK at this point? Is it Miller time? That boy looking like Kyrie Robinson or Chris Ivory out there.
I'm gonna start with Kendrick first. Is it time to give him more snaps than AK? No. But is it time to start to give him as many carries as AK, as many touches, I should say, yes. If Alvin is going to get the ball 15 times a game, Kendrick should have it as well. This has to be more of that boom and zoom type of thing with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. You got to do the same thing with Kamara and Kendrick. He's earned it at this point. He got, he kind of brings a different type of speed to the game when he in there, different type of power back, man. If the offensive line could ever get themselves together, you got that with Taysom coming in as well. Now that he's, starting to be back on the men, you're going to need to get, split them carries up more, because now you can drop it. If AK was getting 25 touches, now you can bring him down to 17, 18. That means if Kendra was getting 10 touches, now you can bring him up a little bit, 13, 14, 15 touches. And then with Taysom, 5, 6, 7 touches, on as a running back, or, some type of, gadget plays or something like that, that tush push that they like to do. You can run QB power with that. So Taysom is going to get at least 5 to 7. And as far as lining up at quarterback, if that's the case, then yeah, increase Kendra, decrease Alvin a little bit. Like I said, you ain't got to replace Alvin with Kendra at this point. That's a little too early. But to give Kendra more, he's earned it. All he had to do was get away from Dennis Allen and Derek Carr, and oh my God, look what happened. So as far as anybody else, you mentioned Jonas Sanker. The one thing that impressed me was something that Marlon mentioned, man, and that's the range in which he showed. If you go back and watch the all 22, shit, you ain't even got to watch the all 22. You could just watch the highlight. He started off on a complete opposite hash mark of the field and went damn near 40 yards across the field to make that interception. That's not natural for a safety to be able to do. The elite ones can do that. Now, am I saying Jonas Sanker is elite? No. I'm saying that was elite playmaking skills he displayed, and if he can consistently do that, the Saints got him one. You mentioned Caleb Downs and him in the back in the secondary at the same time as safeties, feeding families if that happens. So I'm a huge Jonas Sanker fan. I like what he brings to the table. Did I think he was going to be able to show what he's showing now? I didn't. I thought he'd be a nice player. I never thought there would be a player that they would have to count on. And the most impressive compliment you can give him is it's not him that's getting beat out there as a rookie. Like, you mentioned Julian Blackman. They brought him in for a reason. And Jonas Sanker is making it to where, we good, partner. Y'all ain't got to bring him back next year. We good. I got this. The problem is that they don't have a free safety, because to me, Justin Reed ain't that. They should flip Reed and Jonas at this point. Reed should be strong safety. Jonas should be free safety. They need to flip those two, because Reed just don't have it no more, man. He don't have that type of ability. Reed can't make the play Jonas made. Let's just call it what it is. He can't make that play. He's more of a box safety at this point. And I don't know if he ever was that type of coverage guy.
No, he never was a free. He just always felt like a tyrant replacement, because he always was drafted everywhere and he left the next year. But he's always been a box safety. That's why the pick confused me when they took Sanker in the draft, because I'm like, I kind of wanted them to take the guy who the Falcons took, named Xavier Watts, because he was a free safety with a lot of ball production. But if Sanker can have, if you telling me Sanker have like physicality like Justin Reed, but he can actually play over the top, then you got a really good player. That's why I think that it was really impressive to see him.
No question. So I'm with you all the way on that. Like I said, I think it should be flipped. I don't think there's any reason in the world Justin should be playing free at this point. And it's oddly enough, it's crazy that people consistently put him back that free safety. I'll never understand it. But as far as I think you asked like the all 25 team, or the future. I think Quincy Riley has to start. There's too many reasons why he should. One, you get a comp pick if he does. Two, both Yadam and Flavor Ray Sugarwater McKinstry fucking suck. Like they just fucking suck, bro. Like
Barbecue McKinstry, dog.
There's no other way to put it. Flavor Ray Sugarwater, whatever you want to call him, whatever it is, he ain't it right now. And it looks crazy, because all I heard throughout the entire offseason, I'm not blaming anybody that covers the New Orleans Saints, because you can only report on what you see. So to see Kool-Aid, people being like, oh my God, the system that Staley's gonna bring in is gonna be so great for Kool-Aid, because he played this type of same system when he was at Alabama. If he played this system at Alabama, then there's no wonder Nick Saban said, I'm getting out of here so I can go get this TV money, because that boy there is not JaQuincy is not it. Not it. And neither is Yadam. So for me, you gotta play Kool-Aid. You got to play him because you really don't have an option. You can't play Yadam and play Riley. So I get it. But the Saints cornerbacks are getting picked on, bro, and they're not getting picked on by the elite of the elite just yet. They only saw one of them, and they still been getting carved up, and it's only going to continue. So yeah, man, I think at this point you got to play Riley, bro. I don't think there's anybody at this point. You damn near got to play all your draft picks because I think Stutzman should be getting some snaps on defense too. Pete Warner just be out there, bro. Like you, I question why the Saints gave him the money they gave him, especially after for a dude that didn't prove he could really stay healthy and didn't really show me much that when he was healthy. I question the Pete Warner contract.
What you about to say, Marlon?
Yeah, I think with Pete, the coverage has gotten worse. Like the coverage ability. Never saying he was like a lockdown coverage linebacker, but like it just got worse for some reason. I can't really explain it. I mean the extension, it's not a lot of money, but you just want better and you just want better out the player. And he looked better in year one and year two than he looked now. Like he getting tackles and all that, but I never seen it even like last year. Like it's like so far this year, I never seen like him get taken advantage of in coverage like this. I don't
Ain't
know if
even
it
just
was
the
much of a
coverage. Ain't even just the coverage. He be getting messed over like when
no.
QB
I'm
scramble
saying
and stuff too.
no.
The
I'm
Like
way
saying
on
the way
red
last year.
blades.
No,
Josh
like
Allen, the way Josh Allen shook that damn boy out of his damn ankles, that should be like somebody should have filed a police report right then and there on Josh Allen because that was abusive.
And not even just that Josh Allen play. Remember when we played the Bengals and we lost to Joe Burrow in that close game? I feel like the main reason we lost that game, the sole play, well, I just knew it was gonna be over when Joe Burrow when we had him pinned all the way back in the backfield and he scrambled all the way out to his left and he ran for either that first down or that touchdown. I forgot, but I know it was gap containment. What his name is, Demario Davis was closing in on him. All Werner had to do was just go contain him on the other side, but Werner had just came on Demario Davis lane and he just scrambled all the way out, and neither one of them had the ability to just go track Joe Burrow down on that angle. And that was the reason why we lost that game. Right after that play, I just knew like that's it right there. That was the reason we lost. But and that was Pete Werner's fault, man. And I remember Demario kind of like telling him, man, you should have been containing him on that side. You shouldn't. No way this dude was supposed to just escape. Y'all remember that play?
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
bro.
remember that play, but I think that we lost that game because we didn't have Lattimore. We didn't have a prime Lattimore against Jamar Chase. I think that's why we lost that game.
Yeah, Chase.
Let me be honest with you. Let me be honest with you when I say this, fam. We could have had rookie year Marshawn Lattimore, and Chase was gonna cook his ass.
No, but I'm saying, bro, Chase. It was the play that they took the lead on was a 10-yard hitch, and Tyrann Mathieu didn't tackle him, and Bradley Roby was on him, and he didn't tackle him. Lattimore will make that tackle. Like they gonna make them drive the field. They not just gonna let them. He not just gonna miss that tackle and and he just scored. Like I know Jamar Chase all world, but like Lattimore in his
It's not
time
that.
he was like that too.
It's not that. It's that what there were two things Lattimore struggled against: shifty receivers and white receivers. He wasn't going to be able to hold Chase because he struggled with him. For Lattimore, like it's not just a Lattimore thing. It seems to be bigger cornerbacks. Bigger cornerbacks struggle with smaller wide receivers, and Chase is too shifty. And that on the top of the fact that he's shifty, he's strong and shifty. I think Chase would have put him in a blender because that just seems to be who Marshawn struggled against. Now we'll never know the answer to that, but I just think, man, Marshawn would always have trouble with him. He can't deal with them small, shifty receivers, and he can't deal with white slot receivers that for some reason seem to be his kryptonite. The receiver that nobody thinks he should lose against, that's the one that go bust his ass. So you're locked down Mike Evans, but God want to kick his ass all day.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy because Godwin just coming back and Wilkins, what his name is,
What the Bucks gonna do? What the Bucks gonna do to the Saints? It's like you would have to pay to see on Pornhub.
I think that's when the Bucks gonna have a fully healthy team. I think they're gonna have everybody back
that's a
because
fun team, dog.
they lose they lose a guy, but they get a guy back, then they lose a guy. It is like that's been the whole thing. Like they get Godwin back, they lose Mike Evans. Mike Evans is their wide receiver one still. I watched that game this week. I know we be hating on him. Mike Evans, he make everybody life easier over there.
I
But
will say this. I think if you want to say that about a number one, I'll agree with you on that. He is making life a fucking breeze
because
for
like
Emeka.
But yeah, because like I watched that play. Emeka scored that long touchdown. That was a busted coverage. They didn't do shit after, other than that. Like they got their touchdowns on like busted coverages or like plays that extended long. But like Mike make everybody life easier. But they lost Bucky Irvin too for a little bit. But that's just they just got a fun team.
Yeah, man, I get AGM they card, man. They more
Yeah,
they them and the Lions more fun to watch than the Chiefs. You
yeah,
know.
that's a top
The,
five GM in the league. He be on Twitter.
what the Bucks did was they like here's the part that bothers me. All four teams in the NFC South did the exact same thing. The Bucks just went about it differently. The Bucks said, "Okay, look, we're gonna get rid of a lot of this old talent that we have, and we're gonna phase them out. But as we're phasing them out, we not gonna tear it down to the studs. We're gonna phase them out. We're gonna eat some of their contracts, but we're gonna kind of put quality. You know what it reminds me of? This is the best way I could put it for Saints fans. It reminds me of when Sean Payton came in. He went and got a dude that nobody wanted in a Scott Shanley. He went and got a Scott Fujita. He went and got some of these hard-nosed players that were tough and gritty, but they just hadn't really been given their chances. And it's like all of a sudden that tough and gritty started kind of bleeding over because you got a Baker Mayfield, tough and gritty. You got a dude like you find a Bucky Irvin, tough and gritty. Mike Evans is built like a damn tank. If he could just stop the ankle injuries, he remind me of Julio Jones. If he could stop the lower body injuries and the hamstring, then he good. Marshawn was really on the kryptonite. So it's like you build teams that are like that, and all of a sudden what you have is you got a bunch of people in the locker room that feel like, why not us? The Saints went about it completely differently. The Saints forgot that they were in a rebuild. They didn't want to say the word. They didn't want to acknowledge it. So what they did is they poured a bunch of money into a quarterback that nobody wanted, and they bid against themselves. And they tried to basically Drew Brees the thing all over again and said, we're going to put all our chips in the middle of the table. We're going to make Derek Carr our Drew Brees, and we're going to win it all over again. Wrong answer.
Mhm.
So the Carolina Panthers, we're going to tear it all the way down to the studs, and we're going to rebuild it all over again. There's Dave Canales is the safest man in the NFL. Because when he took that job, Kellen Moore should feel like that right now. When he took that job, he knew it was going to be a full rebuild. Nobody expected them to get good fast, or at least competitive fast. So, I mean, and then of course there's the Atlanta Falcons, who had a quarterback they gave all that money to because they were trying to follow the Saints blueprint. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of it, they changed courses and said, okay, we're going to draft this quarterback with the number 8th overall pick. You're going to do what, when, how, when you just gave Kirk Cousins all his money? Who gives a shit if we gave Kirk Cousins all that money? We realized our mistake. Kirk Cousins ain't gonna take us nowhere. Now we gotta try Penix. Penix looked good last year in that cup of coffee he had. He don't look that way now. So it's like all four teams did the same thing. Tampa just did it the smartest, and that's why they're going to win the division again and again and again over the next couple of years until the Saints and the Falcons and the Carolina Panthers catch up. And they better hope that they can.
And then the thing about them, they just fun to watch, and they also got that quarterback that got personality. You know, he's that gamer type of quarterback that just it's just fun, bro. It just more. It's a difference between him and a Bryce Young. Like fans just keep that up.
Saints problem is? The Saints problem is it's twofold. It's not just Mickey Loomis. That's a problem in and of itself. The Saints problem is they have a lot of low IQ football players, and they got too many pretty mother effers on the team. They got way too many people that want to be fashionistas. The Saints need some ugly single, like grew up in the underneath the project, just like they need some gritty, grimy, just like you, I can't, I hate to say it this way, bro, but this is the only way I can say it. You can't fight if you pretty, you can't fight like a pretty dude. You can't fight like a handsome man. You gotta fight like you ugly with nothing to lose. Especially if you fighting somebody that's ugly with nothing to lose. Why? Because if you punch him in the face and you scar up his face, it ain't gonna bother him. He gonna look like that next week too.
Mhm.
But if he hits you, he connect, and you got a scar on your face, guess what? Your pretty ass gonna be looking in the mirror every day, realizing, God damn, look at this scar. It ain't going nowhere. Now you ugly too. The Saints got too many pretty boys. Look, I'm straight. I ain't blind. Jonas Sanker is a handsome guy. Cam Jordan, handsome guy. Spencer Rattler, handsome guy. That's too many pretty dudes. You need ugly. You need people who ain't. You need Chase Young, handsome. Jawan Johnson want to be a TikTok star. Like they got too many podcasters. If you too many podcasters, too many pretty people. They need ugly, rugged, rough. Like somebody that feel like they slap you and you touch your hand, sandpaper when you touch it.
Yeah.
The Saints don't have that. They got people that are moisturizing their skin and going to get manicures. The Saints need some ugly niggas on their roster. Go get me one of them.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, when they was, that's why I was saying we was good when we had the rappers on our team. We had the guys going to jail on our team.
Look at Chauncey. Chauncey. First of all, Chauncey looks like a grown-up version of Kodak Black. He just looked like he looked like he grew up and he had silver caps on his teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Now I ain't saying he's the best corner or safety out there. He not. But what he was ugly. He was gritty, and he didn't give a damn. I'm not saying he was great, but he brought a different energy to the team. If you were gonna fight somebody, even if you was gonna lose the fight, you wanted Chauncey in a fight with you. You know what I'm saying? Like if he wasn't gonna do nothing else but take a punch, you knew he was gonna be right there. Excuse me, pardon me. But that's what the Saints don't have right now. I'm not saying that man won't scrap, but I'm just asking y'all a question. Y'all really believe under any circumstances that Jonas Sanker really gonna try to get his face messed up? He better have elite talent because he ain't about to scrap with nobody. Do y'all really like? Can you really see
Sanker the guy that you had put on Twitter that said he looked like Jalen Hurts?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I couldn't put a face with him, but now I remember now.
Okay. When you see me tweet on Sundays, we got Jalen.
They said he looked like when he got drafted. We drafted Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. When you see me tweet on Sundays, we got Jalen Hurts at home. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jonas Sanker. He kind of looked like him. But that I'm saying this to be funny, but I'm saying it because it's true. Like there's a lot of truth in a joke. These dudes is too pretty, bro. Like they need some rugged cats on the roster. They need some people that ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, man, because it also builds a type of culture in the locker room too. Like even Teron Armstead, he was rapping. But we mentioned Taysom Hill doing the tush push. Like, will Taysom Hill even be good at that? Do y'all believe like he got he got the same thing that Jalen Hurts got, or do you think we should just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Let him catch the ball and let him survey where he want to go with it and let him just rock out with that.
They got to scrap that tush push. They shouldn't be running that. They shouldn't be running the tush push. He got small hands. It's just not going to work. But I wouldn't run the tush push with him, especially with somebody off a knee injury. I don't know really what you do with him at this point because he doesn't do tight end stuff. I guess the ideal way to use him would be like a version of Kyle Juszczyk or like use him like that. But I'm not interested, no matter who plays quarterback, and him getting QB power snaps. I don't think that's productive if you want to find out about young quarterbacks. At least that's how I feel. But I guess I would use him like Kyle Juszczyk in a role like that. I mean, since he's here, I thought they should have got rid of him, but they didn't. But since he's here, I use him like that.
And that's crazy how he recovered. I'm telling you, that dude like the Terminator, bro. Like I don't know what it is with his genes, but he back before Chase Young, and that's crazy. What you think?
Chase got Achilles, man. Well, let me answer Taysom first. Yes, I think Taysom should do the tush push. Yes, I think he should do QB powers. I think if you find as many creative ways to use Taysom as you possibly can, because what you can't do now is you can't use him as a battering ram anymore. You can't keep putting him through that. Now you can do the QB power stuff, that way you can get a lead blocker with him or something like that. You might want to put Devin Neal out there as a lead blocker. Maybe I saw somebody post a clip of Kelvin Banks recently. And it was like Banks on it was like one of Kendra runs. And they basically showed him like kind of sliding down the line to get to where he got to get on to the DB so he can kick him out and open the hole for Kendra. And if he can do, he pulled on that play as well. It was like a stunt to where the guard went inside and somebody came on the inside and kind of sealed what his man would have been going on the inside. I think one of the guards or maybe McCoy pulled while Kelvin went outside so he can kind of clear out the DB on that side. And what it showed me, first of all, it showed me his athleticism, but also it showed me put that boy in a lead blocking role. Put Devin Neal in the lead block role, man. You put Kelvin and let him pull, and you get them big boys going on the outside. You got Taysom coming behind that on the QB power. I'll take my chances on 3rd and 1 with that play anytime. 2nd and short, give me that. But goal line, I'll take it because a lot of these plays that Spencer can't hit right now, I believe Taysom would have been able to help. That field goal or whatever it was, no, I'm sorry, the Philly special, whatever they tried to do, that doesn't happen if they have Taysom. It doesn't happen because one, I think there's a tendency to use Taysom in that role more than anybody else. So you're not even worrying about the Philly special, and if you are going to use it, you use Taysom to do it because he's actually played quarterback before, so you use Taysom. The reason I don't mind the play call itself. I hate the execution because why in the flip would you let Olave throw the ball instead of Alvin? That's just me. But that being said, man, nah, bro, give me Taysom in every role you can do because you can't have him be a battering ram no more. He's too injury prone for you to keep putting him out there as like a lead blocker. You're gonna give him you gonna if Taysom get 15 touches a game, let him get 5 as a pass catcher, let him get a couple as a runner or something like that, man, and then let him do some other shit on maybe special teams something like that. If he get 15 touches a game, man, that's good enough right there. Don't overuse him.
Will he
Give him a
play?
couple of tush pushes.
Will he play versus the Giants or too soon?
It's too
It's too
soon.
soon. It's too soon. And here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not saying that what Taysom would do for the Saints coming back to the lineup against the Giants has nothing to do with his physical ability. It has everything to do with the mental part of it. Taysom will put a spark on the team and give them some energy that they just lack. The idea that 7 is lining up, and if he touched that field, even if he's no more than a decoy, it just give the it just it's a gravity thing. It's an energy thing. So I'm not opposed to it, but it's too soon for me. I just think, man, the minute he get out there, things change. And I would say this, man. I don't think if you need Taysom versus the Giants, you're doing something terribly wrong because this should be a game in which it's winnable because you don't have to worry about the Giants as much offensively as you did a week ago. I'm not saying, they won't be able to score points, but Malik Neighbors not being there should help Kool-Aid. It should help Yad Dumbass, and it should help Quincy Riley. It should help them because now that's one less problem you got to worry about going over the top. Can the Giants still do it? Absolutely. But now it might have to be a mirror match in the idea of the Giants might have to dink and dunk their way down the field too. Let's make no mistake about it. Jackson Dart won his first start, but he wasn't impressive like they're trying to make it out to be. If Jackson Dart was Spencer Rattler and had those stats, they would have been saying, yeah, Jackson Dart, they won a game, but they only hyping him because he was he was the Giants pick. He got Dayball, like he might have saved Dayball job. And again, he wasn't great. He was okay. He wasn't great. I would have took that in a Spencer Rattler win. And I'd have been like, yeah, I'm good with it. I ain't gonna sit down and tell you that, Tyler Shuck ain't, still cooking underneath him. That seat ain't hot, but I'll take the win. Jackson Dart wasn't impressive, and without Malik Neighbors, it's gonna be harder to stretch the field. And if they can't stretch the field, that means Kool-Aid and you get Alante coming on blitzes and stuff like that. And that's another thing they need to do too. Alante need to come on some more blitzes. Like they need to turn the heat up.
And DeMario.
Yeah.
Good things happen when them two dudes blitz.
Yeah, I think Alante, if you're gonna ask me for a wild card in this game, if Alante has 2 sacks in this game, the Saints win by 12.
Okay. Marlon, who's some players that the Saints need to watch out for in this Giants game? And give me 3 keys to victory, like 3 things that the Saints must do to come out here with a win.
I'll start everybody on the Giants defensive line. They got the major advantage there. Like, yeah, I guess if you can put 3 people on Dexter Lawrence and 2 people on Dexter Lawrence and hope everybody else can one-on-one block. So I'm looking at their defensive line. Offensively for the Giants, I look at I think it's gonna be a lot of running, and Cam Scatterboo has been pretty good. I think he's gonna have a lot of touches. I don't think he gives a fuck about his life after football if you watch him play. So he's putting his helmet down. He's looking to put it in your chest. So if they can tackle him, which I say Cam Scatterboot second because I think this team is leading the league in missed tackles, and it don't matter if it's on the defensive line, the secondary, the linebacking group. Like I think Demario had an awful in tackling day the other day. He missed 4 tackles. I never seen him miss 4 tackles in a game before, at least not that I can remember. But he missed 4 this week, and they got registered on it like on his stat sheet. So, I mean, they're gonna have to tackle. I think this gonna be a really low scoring game because there's no Malik Neighbors and all that. And then I don't think like with the Giants defensive line, I don't think that we'll have the time to even try to get anything downfield. And I guess on our end, I'll probably say Kendra. I'm gonna lean him. I'm gonna give both running backs, but I lean him more than Kamara just because I think he's the better runner of the football at this point, like in their career. I think he can do more as a just a straight up runner of the football. And the Giants, yeah, they want to rush, but they don't really care to play the run at this point. So I'm giving it to the Giants defensive line. That's one group to look at. Cam Scatterboo is probably my second, and then third I have like the running backs, but particularly Miller.
Mm, okay. Give me three keys to victory for the Saints and give me a scope prediction.
Blocking their line is number one. Um, I would say running the ball because like the Giants, their run defense hasn't been great, and I would say like Rattler doesn't have like the how we have like we can go back to like the last couple of weeks and be like, oh, he missed this, and that's an easy touchdown. Like he makes that play, so I'll give that. And you said give my score prediction.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna go 20-17 Giants.
Should we start some serious dialogue if Trevor Penning have a good outing versus the Giants, specifically on Dexter Lawrence, like if he just stonewalls them?
I mean, if he plays good, but I don't. I mean, he was like I mean, he wasn't that good against the Bills. I give him leeway because it's his first start, but I don't know what's the dialogue to have on Trevor Penning. We should be trying to replace him.
Can't give
You can't fail.
Penning a
You
break.
can't fail at three. You can't like if you fail at two positions, bro. I'm out on you.
All right, B. What you think about the Giants game? Give me some players that we got to watch out for them. Maybe some tight ends, maybe some receivers who people not familiar with since Malik Neighbors won't be playing this game. Give me three keys to the victory and give me a score prediction.
For me, man, I think, man, Alante is going to be key in this game. I think they need to play a lot. Like the one thing Alante asked for when it's before the season started, when he found out they were going to hire Kellen Moore, when he found out Brandon Staley was going to be the defensive coordinator, the one thing he asked for specifically, publicly, he said, just turn me loose. I think this is the game they do. I think Alante has a big game. I think they turn him loose. I think they let him play, a little bit more freely out there, let him rove a little bit more. They I think he kind of go after the quarterback a little bit. I think they need that in order to create some more pressure because with the news about Chase Young, who's basically one sneeze away from popping his Achilles, if it hasn't torn yet, and they just trying to hide the shit because they're getting second opinions on if he's gonna need surgery. I don't understand how you hide a torn Achilles because a calf strain usually used to an Achilles, and that boy said when they asked him directly, are you going to be out for a long time? He said, hell no. Well, we're now going on, 5 weeks, bro. Come on. We like that sound like a long time to me. And I don't think he's playing next week either. I think he's getting second opinions on what he should do about his calf strain because if I'm not, now somebody could have been making it up, but I want to say I might have seen like John Sigler say something like Kellen Moore had a quote saying that they never saw the muscle do what it's doing. It's deteriorating instead of getting healthier. That tells me that's an Achilles waiting to happen. If that's the truth and that was a real quote, he cooked. That being said, Alante can make up for that because you can send him on blitzes. Jackson Dart gonna want to run around the field, man. Send Alante, put some pressure on him. Let him know that this is not gonna be an easy game for him. As far as offensively, I think Vele and Spencer Rattler found a connection this week. Again, I'm gonna tell y'all my dream scenario. I don't care, at least once a quarter. I don't care about the results. I'm Mickey Loomis at this point. I'm looking beyond the results. What
Hmm.
I need is for them to play action pass because the Saints are going to give the Giants a heavy dose of the run game this week. Make no mistake. It's like, and I remember I said last week exactly what it was going to take to the Saints for the Saints to win. I wasn't wrong on that. Everything I said they had to do when they were doing it, they did it well. But they can't blow the opportunities, which is I think they won't this week. I think Vele and Spencer have good games. So that'll be my second key to a victory. If Spencer is getting the ball to Vele instead of some of these other cats, man, like don't get me wrong. If I'm gonna say it this way, if Brandon Cooks has 5 or more catches, the Saints are losing this game. He shouldn't. Vele should have those catches. But I don't think that's going to be the case. And I think as far as another player that we have to look out for, I guess offensively, because I ain't gonna say defensively, because I can't think of anybody on the defense that I think if they have a big game besides Alante that it changes the tide. Except maybe if Brian Brzee find a sack of nuts somewhere, maybe he'll step up and try to play against the run because Scatbo gonna just like if Scatbo get a chance to truck him, he trucking him. That being said, I think offensively, I think this is gonna be the game. Like I'm with Marlon on this one. I think give Kendra some more touches, and I think everything will work itself out. So for me, Spencer and Vele, that connection, I think we see that this week. I think Alante Taylor goes crazy, and I think the Saints run game, and in deep field, downfield passes, we'll see that this week in Alante Taylor, of course. As far as prediction. I said the Saints before the season. I said the Saints were going to be the Giants. I ain't moving off that. I got the Saints 31-27. I think Spencer Rattler plays well. I think the Saints score 30 points because if the Saints can score 24 points, they're probably going to win more games than they lose because the defense is bad, but they ain't bad enough to lose a game if they can score 24 points.
Give me a prediction.
Give me that.
Give me a prediction on how you think the guards will look.
Guards. What guards? You mean the Saints guards? You mean Trevor Penning and Torricella Simpkins?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a 10-8 round. I think they're gonna get their ass kicked more often than not, but when they are fighting, they're gonna fight. It's gonna be a 10-8 round. I think the Giants D line is their strength. I think the difference in the game, and that's why I said I think the very first pass should be a play action downfield pass. Simply because I think the Saints gonna run the ball a lot.
Okay. Hey, Echo.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was me. That was me. That was me. I had cut my car on.
All right.
What I'm saying is, I think if the Giants gonna win on more passing situations than normal, I think the Saints are gonna win on more running situations than normal. So it's gonna even itself out. It's gonna be a 10-8 round.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to see, man. I appreciate y'all for coming in, man. B, you could go ahead on and let people know where they can find you at on Twitter. Let people know when you'll have your next spaces. I was in your last spaces. I was in the comments trying to have your back, man. You say you was looking like Martin up in there, but I was trying to have your back.
I was good, man. Till wifey came and hit me up, bro. I mean, I can't do nothing with that. That's 5 feet of fury right there, bro. Y'all can catch me on Twitter, Battle Rap Bets, all one word, BATTLERAPBETS, Battle Rap Bets. Or you can type in the search bar money, M.O.N.E.Y. If you ask me, I'll tell you what that means if you ask me in a thing, but I ain't gonna say it on here. That being said, man, hit me up. My next space is tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central. I'm going to run it back simply because last time got cut short, and I don't want to say cut because I might actually get that, bro. I'm married to a New Orleans woman. For those who know, they know.
All right, B, man. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Oh, yeah, no problem, brother. Anytime. Y'all be easy, fam.
All right. All right, Marlon, go ahead on and let them know who won Uncle of the Year, where they can follow you at on your Twitter, and any final thoughts.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at It's Rainy Doe, ITSRAINEYDOE. Do Uncle of the Week every Tuesday. This past week, it looked like it was gonna be Kevin Byard, but Darren Waller ain't playing 2 years, and he had 2 touchdowns on Monday Night Football, so it was him. We got an Uncle of the Week every week at Tuesday around 9 a.m. Central, sometime before that. So you can just follow me, get those updates.
Okay. What inspired you to do the Uncle of the Week anyway, Marlon?
I just like the meme with the they had like that Twitter meme about like when they got like these old teams and they call it like the unction. So I just started like all the players who was good in the past and like they was good in the past or they like getting older. They in like year 8, year 9, year 10. I just give them like the Uncle of the Week.
Okay.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we got like on don't got it. You know, I had or it sucks to do, but like I had to put Lattimore on don't got it 2 times. I think he
Mhm.
just physically done.
Yeah. All right, well, shoot, man. Thanks for coming on the show, Marlon. I think that Uncle of the Week, I think you could really, have some good ideas in the future to make it even more popular than what it is. And, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with it, man. But thanks for coming on the show, man. I'll get you back on after the Giants game sometime that week.
All right, appreciate it, man. I'll be back on.
All right.
All right, take care.
All right, man. Shouts out to Marlon. Shouts out to B, man. And come on the show every week with me. Come talk about the preview to the next matchup. And they thought about the recent matchup. We got the Giants, man. We're gonna have a D line in front of us that's gonna be very stout. I'm very interested to see how our offensive line stand up to this defensive line. They probably the best in the business right now, bar none. Um, it's a lot to be excited for this game. I do think the Saints get their first win. As far as the prediction goes, I must say Saints win it 24-20. A close, reasonable game where offenses and defenses get a chance to show, what they got. And I don't think it's gonna just be too hectic on neither side of the ball. But I do think the Saints could win their first game at home versus the Giants. Man, we got Jackson Darby, got some film on him, so he ain't gonna just be coming in the game without, nothing to be expecting or look for. Like sometimes when you get that one game of film, it's better than none because you get to see a little bit of tendencies of what they like to do, what he comfortable with, what he's uncomfortable with, what they're kind of running, things of that nature. So I do believe we'll be ready, bro. I do think we get our first win, and we're gonna be eating them W's like Jameis Winston say, man. But until next time, Who Dat Nation, I'm out.